Yes.
It's the beer video. And Helen, I hate St. Patrick's Day a lot. I hate it.
Can't disagree with you there.
I I I could deal with the amateur drinking if I didn't have to contend with the amateur drinkers out in public. It's too much. It's too early. I had multiple near car accidents today. I'm not exaggerating. We watched a man drive down. Lex and Jaden were with me. We were driving from one place to another, but it was a long stretch of road. I was going to buy pot. Um, and we watched this man. It was like he was driving from I thought in my head, I'm waiting for police cars behind me. I'm like, he's got to be fleeing from the police because he's cutting in and out of cars and not gracefully. Like, there were several near accidents. And but then he would get in front of people and just stop, like not stop his car, but like just start driving normally. And then cars would get closer to him and he would just freak out again. And then a car almost hit me on the way home because a guy went right over the center line and I had to jerk out of the way. Um,
Eh,
yeah. And then I placed my dinner order that was supposed to be ready at 6:45. I was sitting outside the fucking restaurant and at 7:20 I called him and I was like, "You know what? Never mind. I've been sitting out here forever. I don't want this anymore. I hate this day."
Yep.
I don't know. So I'm not in the best mood of all time. I've I've been it's been up in the last 90 minutes of it's cratered. I am in a bad mood. My tolerance for people is at an all-time low. Say
Well,
what's good? Say something good, Helen. Bring up something good.
um, did you see that Gary Oldman's suit of armor from Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula is on sale?
I didn't.
You can have it, well, the current high bid is $4,200.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, if you want that, um, for reference, Gary Oldman's 5'9". I guess you can get an idea of his build by watching that movie. I'm too short for that armor to fit me, unfortunately, but
And I'm
maybe
too tall.
we'll have better luck. And
Well,
I got nice bagels today. Um, and yeah, I don't know.
I guess that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't say I feel better about my own personal plight, but I guess I feel better about the world that those things are out there.
there you go.
Also, when I pulled into the parking lot of the dispensary, one of the drunkest men of all time was being helped across the parking lot by his wife, girlfriend, whatever. They were going into a Days Inn. Made all the sense in the world. Yeah, it was I don't know. I God, St. Patrick's Day. The snake should have won, Ellen. That's my statement on St. Patrick's Day. The snake should have won.
Agreed. Yes.
I know it's an allegory, so don't give us comments. I know. The whole Bible's an allegory. I'm not even sure, was that in the Bible? I don't fucking know, and I don't care. I don't think it was. Because I no, it wasn't in the Bible. What I don't want comments about that either. I'm in a bad mood.
Well,
Well,
that beer.
you went first last week.
Yes.
I mean, I'll go first this week, and I will take down the Helen went first thing. All right. So anyway, I've only had this beer for like 2 hours, so I've had to put it in the freezer. It's my fault. I meant to get it yesterday, and I ran out of time. Anyway, it's from Rusty Rail Brewing, I've done beers from them before. It's called Luminous. It's a white chocolate and macadamia golden stout, which I think is interesting. Yeah. 8.8, oh boy, 8% alcohol by volume. And strangely enough, they have the IBUs on here as 20. So it's just an ale with lactose natural flavors. That's what it looks like. Kind of a trippy looking can. Yeah. Ooh, there it is. I'm drinking out of I'm in a bad mood. I had mentioned that, so I'm drinking out of Return of the Jedi glass because the Emperor is. That's how I felt waiting for my burger that never happened. I came home and ate leftover soup. So that's how this night's going. And that just splashed everywhere. Luckily, I have a giant stack of napkins next to me. All right, let's pour this thing and see what it looks like. Oh, it's really light. I know it's a golden ale, but I guess that shouldn't have been a surprise. There you go. That's your golden boy. A
Hmm.
little dark, a little light. Yeah. Just smells like a beer. It smells like any ale that you would open up and smell. So the scent is not really giving me much, but that's okay. And I smelled it again because I'm an idiot. Ooh. I will say this for the IBUs only being 20, this is, wait, is it more bitter or bitterer? The the bitterness is more than I expected for it being 20 IBUs. I expected it to be a little less. Um, Again, this is my what I say all the time is that that is not a negative. I do enjoy bitter beers. I'm just if anybody out there wants to try this and is not a fan of bitter beers, maybe don't try this one. The um the white chocolate is definitely there. It's subtle. Um, which again which I like because again we've both talked about dessert beers over and over again. So to me, having the hint of the white chocolate is a lot better than, having just a mouthful of sweetness. Um, Mouthful of sweetness, Helen. I thought, is that a good one? Can we use that one? Can that be used as a euphemism? Mouthful of sweetness. Uh, but I like it. I like that I just go you're grimacing, so I'm gonna no, we're not going to use that as a euphemism. Um, I really like the body of the beer. It is pretty the carbonation is sharp, which is good, but it makes me burp a lot because I just wrestled down a bowl of soup about a half hour ago, so I think we're still digesting here. Um, yeah, it's good. It's again, if you like a golden ale, if you're kind of just into that thing, but you would, like to try one with a little bit different flavor to it, this is a pretty good option. I also happen to really like white chocolate a lot. Um, I like all chocolates, but I do happen to be a big fan of white chocolate. And that so this definitely tastes like white chocolate, not just chocolate. So that's really nice. I'm gonna do one more sip. Yeah, that's very pleasant. It's very drinkable. This is weird, like the bitterness is going away a little bit. Like the more sips I take, it's kind of less of a factor. Maybe I'm just getting used to it, but yeah, this is really nice. I would definitely get this again. I don't know that I'm getting much of the macadamia. Maybe I am, but I can't really tell you what macadamia kind of doesn't have much of a taste. I find. So maybe it's just one of the ingredients. But yeah, this is good. Nice white chocolate, golden stout, luminous. Yeah, pretty good. I am enjoying this, and this will be a nice evening beer while I try to write bullshit for my website this week. I'll be doing that tonight.
I
So.
enjoy your website. That Brat album, really good.
Oh man, I don't have the vinyl yet. But yeah, I love that. It's how would you describe that? I mean, it's grindcore-ish. It's a
Yeah,
20-minute album. It's 10 songs in 20 minutes.
yeah, yeah. I didn't realize it was going to be over and like, yeah. I put it on and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, yeah, it's just over. Um, I also like just the pink aesthetic, just like totally fucking with the whole grindcore thing. I enjoy that. You
When
know.
I public Twitter account, I posted a photo of that band. And I was like, you ever just buy an album like on Bandcamp because you liked the band photo? And they thought that was funny. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I just ordered another Brat shirt last night because I have one that I'm going to cut the sleeves off of because I am not bragging when I say this, I promise, but I think from lifting, I'm kind of in a large shirt now instead of a medium because when I wear a medium, they're so tight on my like on my upper arms and my chest where I'm just like, all right, that's fine. At least I guess I'm showing I'm making progress. But the one I got just is too small in the upper body. So I'm just gonna cut the sleeves off. It's a fucking great shirt though, because it's two women beheading what's his name? Oh my God, Hugh Hefner. Yeah, it's them beheading Hugh Hefner. It's pretty good shirt. And a great band. So go check out Brad.
yeah, they're really good. I'm also kind of having a similar problem where my favorite jacket doesn't fit me in the arms so well anymore because, well, I mean, I'm flexing. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yeah, uh,
I can't because I'm wearing a long sleeve sweatshirt. So and nobody really.
only compliment I ever want to get is one I heard about from it was I think some joke on social media. Like this lady was like, "Oh yeah, the taxi driver was watching me like haul my own suitcases out of his trunk from the airport, and he says, 'Strong girl, farm,'
Oh my God. I wish they would say that to me.
right?"
This is what we should start doing on a beer video. I'll just start getting on some creatine and we'll just flex through the whole video. That's what we'll do, like
Yes, let's do it.
flexing. I think it's a great idea.
All right. I think you're wearing a Sacramentum shirt,
I am
right?
wearing a Sacramentum shirt. Yeah, it's just the you know, I can't remember what this album's called, but it's the album cover of it's the one that they're most known for. Sacramentum. Go for the music and don't stay for the reviews on the COVID shot.
Boy, that was a real disappointment. Oh
Sure
well.
was.
I'm wearing a Blind Guardian shirt for the album A Twist in the Myth, which is not a great album, to be honest. Doesn't really rank up there with their best ones, but it does have the song Lionheart, which I really like.
Yeah.
And the cover art's very cool. So,
They're all their cover art's great. Like you can't go wrong with any Blind Guardian shirt. Like all
yeah,
their artwork is awesome.
yeah, I consider this a win overall, I would say.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think so.
well, on my beer, I suppose. It's got a little guy on it, and he's in a barrel with a cat.
Oh, look at that guy.
Yeah, he's
I like
having a
him.
good. So this is a imperial stout, and it is called Barrel Aged Cinnamon Coffee Shop Assault Vehicle.
Ooh, that sounds amazing.
So it's an imperial stout with coffee, cacao nibs, cinnamon, and vanilla. Kind of basic bitch flavors, let's be honest, but
Okay.
um, it's by Lupulin. I think I'm saying that right.
Sure. You look, yeah, that's how I would say it.
They do some pretty good beers. I don't know if they're local. I think they're local-ish. Um, oh yeah, Big Lake, Minnesota.
There you go.
So this is a pretty strong one. It's like 10%.
Ooh. It's funny. I almost got a stout, so I'm glad that I didn't.
Yeah, well, you got a bullshit stout. What the fuck is a golden stout anyway? That means nothing.
That's true. I
Like,
did get a stout. I don't think it means anything. I mean, it's like an ale. I mean, I guess it does mean something. I'm sure that the way that they make it is, you know, different than if you're making a golden ale. Oh God, of course, the uncle or the cousin Eddie. By the way, oh, remind me when you're done drinking. I have to make a correction from a couple weeks ago, from the beer video a couple weeks ago. But go ahead.
so this is a very thick beer. I'm watching the bubbles in the top, and they're like like you can't see it really, but like the beer is like kind of physically pushing up. It's like it looks like when I try to boil down soy sauce
Oh my God,
beer.
this is a
No,
good time.
you can see. I'm really excited.
I'm excited just by the flavor profile. I mean, that I know you're saying it's like a basic bitch beer, but I'm like, I think all those flavors together would make a great stout.
That's a lot of coffee.
Wow, really?
Mm, yeah, not so much cinnamon and just the barest hint of vanilla, which is nice. I do not like overly sweet beers.
Yeah.
Okay, on second sip, it's a little sweeter, but still not like gross sweet. You know what this reminds me of actually is when Matt went to see The Descendants and they were
Yeah.
selling special, like aggressively caffeinated coffee.
Really?
Yeah. This tastes like those like special concentrated coffee beans. So I'm hoping
Mm.
up till 4 a.m.
I mean,
Not that
it
tomorrow.
shouldn't. Like, I don't know. Like the coffee stouts I've had. I mean, I've had some cold brew coffee stouts. If I had a cold brew coffee in real life, I would be in the hospital. But if I have it in a beer, it's more like the flavor and not so much the caffeine.
Okay, so yeah, this says barrel aged coffee, which is why the coffee tastes kind of like almost fermented.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I was saying tomorrow I don't have any plans besides seeing that Kristen Stewart Lady Bodybuilder movie,
Oh,
which I'm
see
excited
that
to.
so badly. Yeah, I really want to see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fighting my friend who's an actual bodybuilder. And funny thing actually is I was like, "Oh, you want to like maybe grab some food before the movie? Because I don't want to pay like $12 for a bucket of stale popcorn." And he's
Yeah.
like, you go ahead. I gotta watch my weight. Like I'm in a competition
Oh,
soon."
sure.
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
fuck, well, cool.
Yeah.
Like I feel a little embarrassed for indulging in all my worst food instincts now.
Yeah. You're not getting ready for competition.
Yeah, that's right. I saw photos from his last competition and he looked fantastic, of course. And he's like, "Well, I didn't place." I'm like, "Shut the fuck up. I do not have the discipline to look like that."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I was this evening. I was trying on jeans and just being appalled at the way I look. And come on, I wouldn't place anywhere. Lifting aside, I wouldn't place anywhere in anything. So be happy with what you got. It's I'm sure he's fitter than most of the population, and competitions are just competitions.
yeah, just to give you an idea, I have his old leather jacket. This is a different leather jacket than the one I'm outgrowing from too beefy because he outgrew this one because he was too beefy.
Yeah. Jeez.
So,
So by the way, I should have looked this up before we did the video because this is the beer video. So a golden stout, they basically just omit the darker malts in the grain bill. So that's why the color's lighter. So that's the difference between a golden stout and a stout.
I mean, I don't think that's really a stout, but mhm,
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't.
they include lighter malts to kind of like replicate the flavor. So that's the difference. So we all learned something today.
He did. I don't know. Seems a little. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think Golden Stout seems like I've only ever seen it on these dessert beers, basically, which are fine, but I just don't know if something is so fundamentally different from the flavor of a stout, like if it can really be called a stout. That's
Yeah,
when,
I don't know. Again, I'm just assuming it's the method of how they make it. There's
yeah,
some ways
this
it's
is
just the malts are different.
brewers to hash out.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess when I see the word stout, like, well, I guess the technical nitpickery, people can talk about that. But when I see the word stout, I'm kind of expecting at least a certain type of flavor profile.
yeah,
And like, stouts can be sweet. Like this is a pretty sweet stout, for example. And like I've had dessert stouts, but like every time I've had a blonde stout or a white stout or whatever the hell they're called, it's just like a straight up like, I don't know, like it's creme brulee ass tasting beer, which is fine, but
yeah.
there's no heft. which I associate with stouts. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Find a new word.
Yeah, let's call it something else. I don't know. I mean, and this one is, you know, it does have most of the thickness of a stout. But I definitely, if somebody would have handed this to me and I would have blindly, and I would have, because I'm always drinking things people hand me blindly. I wouldn't have guessed that this was a stout. That wouldn't have been what I'd go for, but it's fine. I have to make a correction from the beer video a couple weeks ago. You had mentioned a local, was it East Lake that's going out of business, or was like, or is not, what, or
He
something?
went out of business a little bit ago, yes.
And I
All right.
mentioned, oh, but yeah. Well, I had mentioned I was like, oh, I can get those beers here. I used to be able to get their beers here. I was wrong. It's the I was thinking of Lakefront. Lakefront
Oh,
find here. I can't find
I'm
that.
confused. Because East Lake, as far as I knew, like wasn't with any distributors apart from like hyper local.
Yeah.
Like actually my friend Laurel used to be a delivery driver for him, like which is kind of funny because like I just order like tall boys of beer like when I didn't feel like leaving the house and like I assumed it would just be like some rando, but then Laurel would text me like, "Hey girl, outside your house." Like, "Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when I said that you seemed confused, and whenever you were confused, I was like, I better look into this. I might be wrong. And so when I was at the beer store last week, I saw Lakefront, and I was like, oh fuck, that I just had the wrong. I had the wrong brand. I like Lakefront though. I've had some of their stuff, and they make a pretty poisonous pumpkin beer around the holiday or around those holidays that I actually enjoy. I think it's a pumpkin stout. Um, but it's pretty good.
yeah." I like Wasatches pretty all right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a one and done kind of beer, I think. And obviously Hammer Hearts, which I've talked up quite a bit. Oh, God, I'm just waiting, desperately waiting for them to get that brewery up and running up north.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of assume part of the reason is like they've got to get it with they've got to make everything right by these statewide agencies, like the
Yeah.
food people and such. And they're up in Ely, Minnesota, which is like a town of, I'm exaggerating, but like 20 people. Like I assume like the one food safety guy has to make his once monthly trip up to Ely and
Yeah.
like through their square. But I'm just like, oh man, please.
How far is that from where you are?
Oh boy, like multiple hours.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Ely is like pretty close to the Canadian border.
Okay.
Um,
That's kind of what I thought.
yeah, I mean, and Austin's obviously happy as a pig and shit up there. Like,
Yeah.
right? It's just gorgeous wilderness everywhere. But kind of there's good sides to small town living and there's drawbacks. And some of the drawbacks are like shit does not happen as quickly as it does in cities.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's certain people built that way. I'm not, but
Couldn't do it. I did
um,
it like grew up like that, and it's just well, oh God, just the isolation really really grinds on you, I think, or me anyway.
yeah, I think it would grind on me too. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be my favorite.
it's
Um, we talk about Judas Priest a lot on this little beer video. And this week I finally spent the money and got Judas Priest's Invincible Shield. Uh,
yeah.
the less
That's
said about the album art, the better, but the this record's great. I don't understand how guys that are most of them in their 70s, I guess their drummer and their other guitar player, Richie Faulkner, he's not nearly as old as they are. And I don't know how old Scott Travis is, but I don't believe he's as old as those guys. But Ian Hill and Rob Halford and shit, not KK Down, Glenn Tipton, all in their 70s. And they sound awesome. This record's great. Um, I know Bruce Dickinson just put a solo record out. It's fine. It cannot touch this record. The last Iron Maiden can't touch this record. It's so good. Um, I spent a lot of money on this album. I think they're still on Sony. Uh, They're on Epic, yeah, which is owned by this thing's still owned by Sony. Hey, Epic, how much money do you need? Like, I spent almost $50 on this. It's double vinyl. I was expecting there was going to be like a bunch of cool shit in it. No, it's just two records. Um, it's still worth it. The music's fucking great. I don't get it. Judas Priest, we are not how we're not worthy to be in their shadow.
Yeah, I mean, well, every band's put out some stinkers, but
Sure.
Judas Priest's slump period, thankfully, they seem to have confined to the early 2000s
Yeah.
when they had that Joker on vocals that was not Halford.
Tim Ripper Owens.
I mean, I feel bad for that guy a little bit because, like, there's no way you cannot live up to Rob
No.
Halford. Like,
Yeah.
and like, he clearly wanted to do it and was really jazzed about it, but he just didn't have the juice, as the kids say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between Rob Halford and a Rob Halford impersonator, which he basically was, because I mean, he was in a tribute band. And again, nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm not
And
criticizing.
hey,
it.
Bill said, I cannot do that vocal style. Like, I have respect for anyone who can, but, there's a difference between like faithfully imitating that and actually being able to like contribute to the songwriting process for it.
Yeah. And there's just a difference in charisma. I mean, and again, I don't shit on Ripper Owens for this. I mean, most people don't have Rob Halford's charisma. And so you're just yeah. The one thing with Iron Maiden, like when they went with oh, I can't think of his name, the guy from Wolfsbane, who replaced Dickinson, uh, for those two records. Anyway, they at least went a different route, and
Oh, they sure did.
yeah, but they at least didn't go and get somebody who sounded like Bruce Dickinson because you're not going to replace Bruce Dickinson. So they at least tried to go a different angle. It was terrible. Their two worst albums.
Named Blaze Bailey.
Blaze Bailey, that's it, yeah. And nothing against Blaze Bailey, he was fine at Wolfsbane. They tried to write for Bruce Dickinson for a guy who couldn't sing like him.
I do not like Blaze Bailey's vocal style, but I appreciate that he was not trying to do a Dickinson impersonation.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think he recognized that wouldn't work.
yeah.
Um, and Matt has a cookbook that's like metal musicians contributing good recipes. Some of them are actually pretty decent. Like, well, surprise, surprise, a lot of like metal musicians before their careers took off worked in restaurants.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
So like you know, there's some legit recipes in there which like I wouldn't mind making, and there's some which it's just like, kind of decent hangover food.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blaze Bailey contributes one which is just like, you have stumbled home drunk from the pub. You're in England. You have some you have some curry paste and some sausages.
Yeah,
Like, here's sausage curry hangover mess.
yeah,
And like, well, that sounds alarming. And
yeah, yeah,
funniest part of that recipe actually is, he's talking about how to like, soften some onions in the curry paste or whatever. He's like, just don't crank the heat too high, otherwise the curry paste is going to spit in your face. And if you have to go to the ER, you're going to have to explain how you were making a recipe from someone named Blaze Bailey. That's just going to be embarrassing for both of us.
yeah, yeah. Hey, that's some self-awareness that we could all use a little more of.
Right? Yeah.
All right, folks, look, it's been the beer video. We didn't bitch about politics this week, so that's our gift to you. And you got the little thumbs up emoji on your screen. I don't know why those keep popping up, but I like them. So that's been it for the week. And I want to say happy birthday to Zach Emerson, who's been on this podcast before or whatever this is, and will return again. Happy birthday.
Wait, is that the shitty wizard?
That's the shitty wizard. That's the
Okay.
shitty wizard.
Happy birthday, shitty wizard. I hope you know I have your Study Tomes Crack Dome sticker on my water bottle I take to jujitsu. And I'm sure all the high school guys I practice with are very intimidated by that.
That's right. Yep. So happy birthday, our friend, and we'll see you all on a day that's not St. Patrick's Day. Thank fuck.